Skomer Island is an island just off the coast of Pembrokeshire in south-west Wales. My name is Leighton Newman and I am the warden out on Skomer Island. So being the warden, I'm responsible for pretty much everything that happens out here. So that's anything from the visitor operations right through to the monitoring that happens. Some of the day can be a bit varied. So it can start with a bit of monitoring, so breeding bird surveys and stuff like that, or seabird counts, or later in the season it'll be something to do with seals as well. But a lot of the time it's sort of helping to run the island, so managing the team that welcomes all the visitors to the island, making sure everyone gets on and off safely. Home to a huge number of birds, probably the most important for a bird called the Manx shearwater. Here we've got puffins, guillemots, razorbills, kittiwakes, fulmars, and it's not just about the seabirds either. We've got nesting short-eared owls in the centre of the island as well. So really, really important for a huge number of birds, and it's not just seabirds, there's land-based birds as well, short-eared owls. The last breeding curlew in Pembrokeshire are also breeding on Skomer as well. There's wheatear breeding in the burrows and things, and it's just a hive of activity and birds everywhere. Hugely important for seabirds, so it's a massive seabird colony, so it's the largest seabird colony in southern Britain, home to roughly 800, 900,000 individual birds, so there's a huge number of birds out here. So in terms of the seabirds, so start with the Manx shearwaters, for example, so 350,000 pairs of them on here. They're a burrow nesting species, so the densest colonies are at the edge of the island, so the closest area to the sea, but the birds nest right in the centre of the island as well. Some of the other birds we've got, guillemots, razorbills, puffins for example, so we had our record count ever for puffins this year, so 38.5, nearly 39,000 individual puffins out here as well, so they're again another burrow nesting species on the island, and they're pretty dispersive in their winter activities, so they can be right out into the mid-Atlantic or right down to the Mediterranean, some of the birds as well, so they're quite dispersive. They're doing really well, so the adult survival is pretty good, and the productivity is pretty good as well. So the number of chicks they're fledging per pair is pretty good at the moment. We think that's probably to do with how far they're having to go to forage. The birds were travelling shorter distances to forage to find the sand eels which they're feeding their chicks. So there's less energy expenditure and it's easier to find food for the birds while they're here. So I guess there's a number of threats that seabirds are currently facing. One of the biggest ones is probably climate change. So the cliff nesting species especially are struggling with unseasonable storms. So last year, for example, we had 2 big back-to-back storms in May when all of the seabirds were on eggs on the cliffs, so a really critical time for them. We had winds of nearly 80 mile an hour in May last year, and we had one of the lowest guillemot productivities we've recorded in a long time. Like all other seabirds on Skomer, the reason that they're all here, or one of the main reasons but they're all here, is because we are free of ground predators. So we don't have any rats on the island, or stoats or mink or anything along those lines. They would be pretty detrimental for everything on the island. I would reckon that if we had rats on the island, we would lose nearly all of our breeding seabirds, especially the burrow nesting species. We'd lose nearly all of them within a year or 2. So it would be, yeah, pretty dramatic and pretty awful for the seabirds on Skomer. So to protect against ground predators, we have quite a strict regime that we have. So every delivery that we have to the island, all of the boats are baited with rat poison. We also have monitoring stations around the island to monitor for any incursions from passing ships or anything along those lines. And we make sure that all the visitors that come to stay overnight, the ones that are bringing all their food with them and stuff, they make sure that all of their boxes and bags are fully sealed so we can't get any rodents or anything like that can be stowaway in their bags, for example. So we're really, really keen to keep it predator free, and we're fairly happy that at the moment our measures are working. There's a huge number of birds out here, and it's internationally important for seabird populations.